Hello, everyone. Xi Jinping's major achievement project in military equipment, the Fujian aircraft carrier, was officially commissioned 2 days ago, with Xi Jinping attending the commissioning ceremony. This was originally routine, but this time, Xi Jinping's attendance has once again triggered enormous doubts about his real power status, because the entire ceremony featured multiple unprecedented abnormalities. The commissioning of the Fujian carrier means that this unprecedented, strangely designed aircraft carrier has officially entered active service. So, is this carrier considered Xi Jinping's successful achievement project, or yet another of his unfinished projects? This has also become a topic sparking huge controversy from military to public opinion circles. Yesterday, there was an even bigger controversy. Xpeng Motors, which started with electric vehicles, suddenly released their new female form robot. Its catwalk gait, being extremely close to human walking, once exploded public opinion with doubts that it was a real person cosplaying, but it was quickly confirmed to be a genuine robot. So, does this mean Xpeng's robot has overtaken on a curve and crushed Musk's robot in strength? Today is November 7th Easter Time. I am Tang Jingyuan. Welcome to subscribe to our channel. Together we use facts, logic, and common sense to dig out the truth behind the news. Let us first talk about today's most controversial news. Xi Jinping attending the Fujian carrier commissioning ceremony. At around 1 p.m. Beijing time on November 7th, Xinhua News Agency issued the top headline. The commissioning and flag granting ceremony for the CCP's first electromagnetic catapult aircraft carrier, the Fujian, was held on November 5th at a military port in Sanya, Hainan. Xi Jinping attended the commissioning and flag-granting ceremony and boarded the ship for inspection. News of the Fujian carrier's commissioning had actually been circulating wildly on the mainland internet 2 days earlier. Many mainland self-media outlets previewed or hinted at related information, and military enthusiasts uploaded various AI images, including carrier commissioning envelope first aid covers, ship badges, etc. Most of these messages were hard to distinguish as true or false. The CCP official side never confirmed the Fujian commissioning news, but also took no action to refute rumors or control related speech. News of Xi Jinping going to Sanya had already spread before this. Because the Fujian carrier's hull number is 18, there was speculation in the streets whether the commissioning ceremony would wait until November 8th, because as everyone knows, the CCP has a particular obsession with the number 8. Almost all major political activities choose dates with 8. As a result, when Xinhua's report came out today, it turned out the commissioning ceremony had already been completed on the 5th, 2 days earlier. This is the first major abnormality we're talking about. Because comparing with the previous commissioning of the Liaoning and Shandong carriers, Xinhua always released the news as the top front page headline on the same day, with maximum fanfare and full specifications. You know, the CCP now has 3 carriers, each representing an era-defining advancement. In 2012, the Liaoning commissioning was the CCP's first carrier in service, breaking the zero record, though it was bought. In 2019, the Shandong commissioning was the CCP's first domestically built carrier in service, also setting a first record. This time, it is the CCP's first electromagnetic catapult carrier, thereby bidding farewell to the era of ski-jump takeoffs for carrier-based aircraft. Of course, an era-defining upgrade. CCTV reported that the Fujian using electromagnetic catapult was an achievement project personally deployed and promoted by Xi Jinping. And as everyone knows, the reason it is named Fujian is aimed at war in the Taiwan Strait and confrontation with U.S. carriers. In other words, under normal circumstances, the propaganda treatment this time should exceed the previous 2, or at least not be lower than the previous 2. I saw some speculation that this was to prevent assassination. Actually, that is not the case. Former Taiwan Navy Captain Liu Lisher, as early as the morning of November 4th, posted on Facebook that at Yulin Port in Sanya, Hainan, the commissioning viewing platform next to the Fujian carrier had been set up and related personnel were rehearsing, pointing out, "It seems it will be commissioned tomorrow or the day after, 5th to 6th. Even a retired officer in Taiwan across the strait knew it clearly. Delaying the report by 2 days to prevent assassination does not hold water. The second major abnormality is the accompanying high-level personnel, first and foremost Zhang Youxia. According to the official communiqué, this time it was the second-ranked CMC Vice Chairman Zhang Shengmin who accompanied Xi Jinping to attend and hosted the ceremony. Comparing with the 2019 Shandong commissioning, it was also the second-ranked CMC Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia who hosted the ceremony. Some friends might think this is normal. It shows that after having two CMC vice chairmen, one accompanies Xi Jinping on outings, indicating Xi Jinping still firmly holds power. But this actually only sees the surface and not the substance. For a super major combat readiness like a carrier entering service, it must be the CMC vice chairman responsible for the military sector who attends. That is normal. This is not only his responsible scope, but also his important achievement. Everyone note, in 2019 Shandong commissioning, the first-ranked CMC vice chairman Xu Chiliang was absent not because of ranking, but because Xu Chiliang was the vice chairman responsible for political work. The CMC vice chairman in charge of military construction, attending major national defense equipment handover and commissioning ceremonies, is a military system regulation. This has nothing to do with ranking, but with the vice chairman's duty division. That is why we saw in 2012 Liaoning commissioning, both the first-ranked military responsible Guo Boixiong and the second-ranked political work responsible Su Kaiho accompanied Hu Jintao to attend. For Shandong commissioning, the military responsible Zhang Youxia attended. So, on the surface this time, also the second-ranked Zhang Shengmin attended. But in fact, this is abnormal and violates military regulations and precedents. If Xi Jinping firmly holds power, this often means Zhang Youxia has problems and is sidelined, only then shielding his supervisory duties and letting the political work one replace him. The third major abnormality is the carrier commissioning at Yulin Port in Sanya. By regulation, the CMC Joint Staff Chief of General Staff responsible for operations, the Equipment Development Department Minister, the Southern Theater Commander and Political Commissar, the Navy Commander and Political Commissar, and other senior generals must all be present. So we saw in 2019 Shandong commissioning, Joint Staff Chief Li Zuoqing, Southern Theater Commander and Political Commissar, Navy Commander and Political Commissar all attended fully. Navy Commander Shin Jinlong even spoke at the ceremony. In other words, last time at least 6 generals accompanied Xi Jinping. But this time, in CCTV footage, all senior generals in the above positions were absent. Of course, most of them may be because they were investigated and arrested. For example, Navy Commander Admiral Hu Zhongming and Southern Theater Commander Admiral Wu Yanan were absent from the 4th plenary session, and Navy Political Commissar Yuan Huaji has been officially announced fallen. However, Joint Staff Chief Liu Jinli and Southern Theater Political Commissar General Wang Wenquan, who both attended the 4th plenary session, also did not participate in this Fujian commissioning ceremony. As a result, an unprecedented scene appeared. For such an important major military achievement project, surprisingly only one single general, Zhang Shengmin, accompanied Xi Jinping to the ceremony. This is still because the commissioning ceremony host must be a CMC vice chairman. Unavoidable. If it were someone else, it would be too obvious. Even so, this itself is still an abnormal arrangement violating system regulations. On the government side, Liaoning commissioning had Premier Wen Jiabao and State Councilor Ma Kai attend. Highest specifications. Shandong commissioning had Vice Premier Liu He, NDRC Director He Lifeng, and Central Office Director Deng Xuexiang attend. This time, besides Central Office Director Kai Chi, only one Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing attended. So no matter which aspect, this is an unprecedented lowest configuration. This is another historical lowest configuration after the 9.3 parade. Is this another coincidence? Everyone can think for themselves whether this is coincidence or arrangement. Of course, the most eye-catching remains Zhang Youxia, because whether from duty division or from clarifying the city-full rumors of Xizang fight, he should normally attend. But he did not, preferring to let this major achievement and spotlight opportunity go to Zhang Shengmin, refusing to appear in the same frame with Xi Jinping no matter what. What does this indicate? The fourth major abnormality involves two essential important ceremonies and procedures. In 2019 Shandong commissioning, after the ceremony, Xi Jinping boarded for inspection with two important ceremonies. One was walking the red carpet to review the Shandong Honor Guard. The other was meeting carrier troop officer representatives and carrier construction unit representatives, a large scene of at least 300 to 400 people taking a group photo together. Checking the first Liaoning commissioning, when Hu Jintao boarded for inspection, he similarly reviewed the Liaoning Honor Guard and met troop officer representatives, scientists and technicians participating in carrier construction, cadres and workers, hundreds of people, and took group photos. But this time, both major ceremonies were completely absent. After the commissioning ceremony, in CCTV news footage, Xi Jinping directly boarded the ship to hear reports and console the officers and men on board. The group photo published by Xinhua was only one of Xi Jinping with carrier-based aircraft pilots and aviation support personnel wearing different colored vests, just exactly 20 people. Is Xi Jinping's power more stable and powerful, or has it substantially shrunk? Everyone can draw your own conclusion based on this series of facts. Let the facts speak. As for whether the Fujian carrier's electromagnetic catapult technology can match the combat power of the U.S. Empire's Ford-class carriers, any slightly objective military enthusiast knows clearly. Due to time, we won't belabor it. Next, we shift topics to talk about the Xpeng robot that is exploding online because this topic has burned into the English-speaking circle. A large number of English big verses have started participating in discussions. The core controversy, of course, is whether the Xpeng robot has already overtaken on a curve and crushed Musk's Optimus robot. The fuse of this event is the Xpeng robot's walking posture. Yesterday, November 6th, Xpeng Motors, one of the three carriages of new energy vehicles, held AI Day 2025 at its Guangzhou headquarters and officially released the latest generation humanoid robot Iron. This is a female image robot. As soon as it appeared, it immediately triggered massive discussion. For one reason only. Iron's walking posture is very close to real human, with smooth and fluid gait, and it walked a catwalk. Precisely because of this, the internet instantly exploded in China. A large number of netizens doubted it was a real person acting, doubting He Xiaoping was faking to circle money in the stock market. The party involved, He Xiaoping, subsequently released an unedited video showing staff pulling open the robot's upper garment zipper from behind, displaying internal skeletal frame and cooling fans, etc., proving Iron is a genuine robot. At a release event that evening, He Xiaoping responded to doubts again. With robot Iron powered on and running. On site, they cut open its leg covering, publicly displayed the internal mechanical structure, and continued walking off the display stage. This rumor-refuting action immediately made a pile of pinko Wu-Mao excited to endocrine disorder. What strength-crushing, what must crying fainted in the toilet, Optimus is just an electric big toy, etc. Anyway, curve overtaking successful, U.S. Empire beyond reach, etc. Like most friends with robots, I'm just a layman watching the excitement without understanding the doorway. We must say objectively, Xpeng robot in simulating human walking has indeed made substantial progress compared to Unitree robot senile dementia gait. I watched Xpeng's released bare machine walking video, and the posture with jacket on is consistent, showing this robot's drive operation from hip to foot mechanical joints is already quite smooth. This point is undeniable. But if we conclude from this that Iron has already crushed Musk's Optimus, I think it is a bit too young, too simple, sometimes naive. Why say this? First, everyone note one point. Although Xpeng official repeatedly renders Iron possessing brand new human-like skeletal structure, bionic muscle system, and full coverage flexible skin and other high-end concepts, the official has never clarified whether Iron's walking has remote back-end control. Just this one point already has huge difference from Optimus. Second, during Iron's walking process, it never demonstrated hand actions throughout. Although XPeng official promotes that iron hands use miniature harmonic joints with 22 degrees of freedom, only 5 less than human. Therefore, it can already complete some complex daily actions, such as folding clothes, wiping tables, organizing items, and other fine tasks. But even mainland media that praise XPeng highly report that XPeng previously tried putting iron on the production line, task screwing screws. Result: the robot did worse than workers. Low efficiency, expensive maintenance, easy damage. Thus, XPeng very realistically thinks it is temporarily not suitable for scaled production. The principle is simple. Producing robots is not for walking T-stage catwalk as models, but needs them to realistically replace large amounts of human labor and achieve high-cost performance mass production to have real social significance. Let us compare Musk's latest generation, Optimus version 2.5 robot performance. First, look at its motion form. This is the scene at Tesla shareholder meeting where Musk and Optimus version 2.5 robot performed dancing on stage together. We can see Optimus actions are still quite stunning. Finer, more coherent, smoother, and powerful than before, showing its balance correction field exceeds iron by more than one street. Let us look again at Optimus V2 robot hand actions. We all know Optimus Robot can already chat with people, understand human requests, pour drinks for customers, take popcorn, and other relatively fine actions, and has initially entered commercial level. Moreover, the latest generation V3 robot will debut next year, and V3 robot's large-scale production line is expected to be built in 2026. Currently, the robot's pilot production line is already formally running at the Vermont factory. Factory and office sites have conducted real scene testing, collecting real use cases. Its goal is after scale production to drop each robot cost to only $20,000. We must say objectively, what XPeng robot currently shows is just a simple straight-line walking machine. We have not seen various dancing dynamic balance changes. Moreover, strictly speaking, whether it is even autonomous walking is not proven, because this could be achieved using low-cost motion capture or pre-programming methods. Maybe spend a bit more effort optimizing the bionic walking algorithm. Whereas Optimus Robot in intelligent thinking, human interaction, commercial uses, cost control, and large-scale mass production still has obvious generational gap with XPeng Robot. So my conclusion is very clear. Excited friends, calm down. XPeng has made substantial progress. This point need not be denied, but to catch up with Optimus, there is still a very long road to walk.